Are you guys all rolling? Okay. Congratulations, gold medal. How's that feel?
Pretty crazy right now. Like, it's still not sunk in that I've come to World Champs and I've come away as gold medalist and world champion. Especially, I think when you're in an event like that and there's a figure and an athlete who's so dominated and such a heavy favourite that I never ever expected to be world champion. I believed that there was a chance, but my main thing was I wanted to come in here and make amends from a shocking run in Tokyo and just kind of like come away with a run that I was proud of, and that was hopefully going to be a medal, let alone like expecting for it to be a gold. So it's a dream scenario for me.
Tell us about that final burst.
Like, there's so many possibilities for how that race could have gone, and all I wanted to do was stay in contention for as long as possible to be able to use my speed and be strong enough to be able to do that, and to actually use the only card I had against Jakob, which is a fast 800. So like, when I got into the last lap, I was like, I feel good, but I thought something was going to happen to change that, and then as soon as the 200 point came, I knew I had to get past him in the bend and just control that to then save up for a big home straight, because you need it against someone as strong as him. I haven't seen it back, and like in my head it probably is different to how it actually went out, but that was just like, for me, like the aligning of so many things, like so many years of hard work. I've been doing sport since I was 8 years old, so I'm 20 years deep now. I've tried to change so many things this past year. Well, not so many, but the stuff that I knew was wrong from last year, to give myself a shot at being competitive in a race like that. So for that to have come off, and for so many people to have worked so hard to get me to this point, is something I feel proud of, and I hope that they feel proud that they've done their part to get me to this place as well.
It's almost like a sense of disbelief when you cross the finish line. So all of that just came out, didn't it?
Yeah, like even now, like I can't believe it. Like still, it hasn't sunk in that this happened. Like, it could easily be a bronze here, and like the fact that it's actually a gold is like ridiculous. It's how many kids dream of being like Olympic world champion, and how many kids actually get the chance to do that. And I was a little kid that wasn't amazing. Like I loved the sport, and I believed that I at some point could do it. And like the older you get, the more you realise how hard it is to do that. And even the last few years, it's like, well, I feel I've got the potential to get a medal here. That's what I want to do. I just want to finish my career global medalist, like either Olympic medal, world's medal, but like to be a world champion is just like madness.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Cheers. Thank you.
Why was it important for you to get the lead at 200 and not to wait until the home straight?
My races this year, like, and probably my races previously, like going back to when I won Oslo in 2017, like that's just my strength, is being able to control the bend, because when I was younger, I used to be very excited when I kicked that, and I'd go too hard at 300, at 200, and then I'd have nothing for a straight. But when you hit the front in the bend, you can control it, and people aren't likely to come past you. So then, by the time you hit the home straight, you've kind of still got something, rather than being all out round that bend. So yeah, my cards were literally last 200. If I'm there, I've got a good shot. So I was like licking my lips with 200 to go, that whatever happened, I was going to have a good chance of beating him. Like whether that happened or not, I was going to be in the race that pushed him, and I kept thinking he was going to come past. It wasn't until I crossed that line that, I just couldn't believe that that's actually what happened.
Yeah, your dad said right after Tokyo, I think you had just one conversation basically saying you needed to change things up and get stronger to be able to run in these sort of 328, 329 races. Can you tell me when and where was that conversation? What do you remember about that?
I was in the dining hall of the village, and it was probably 2 hours after I'd raced. I was a bit all over the place, because like Tokyo was very, very gutting for me. I went into it feeling like I could get a medal, and to finish 10th, I felt I was just, it wasn't even like, at the time I thought 10th, like 10th or 4th, whatever happened, like if I'm not a medalist it doesn't matter, but 10th was just such a gutting place to finish, when I felt as though I should have been at least like 4th, 5th, 6th, because I wasn't good enough for a medal. So I just knew that I was probably like if one of the best 800 metre runners in the field. If we all ran a 5k, I was probably going to be last or near the back. So I knew that was what I needed to change. There was no point in being so good at 8s that if I'm never going to get the chance to use it. So I did a 10k, I did a cross race, which I didn't really want to do, and then those 3k indoors was like my big step to kind of push myself out of my comfort zone and do that strength-based stuff that I was lacking. You see those guys like Josh, Jakob, Cherry, like all of them could run a good 5k, whereas I knew I couldn't. So there wasn't much to change. There was just a few gaps to fill, and a combination of that, and then coming into the season and racing those quick races more, because I think I didn't get the opportunity to run like that last year. So Oslo really opened my eyes as to how much work I probably needed to do, because I was a long way off Ollie and Jakob there. But the work I did between then becoming British champion and then the few weeks in Colorado Springs just to get a little bit more under my belt, I was confident that I was in a better place. But you never know where that's going to be still. I knew through the rounds that I felt good, so I just hoped that I was in contention for a medal, let alone the win.
What specifically did you do between Oslo and now then to close that gap?
I've had a torn tendon in my hamstring after Rabat, so one thing I needed to do was I could manage it, but every time I was doing track sessions it was flaring up, and we got that scanned after British Champs, because between the rounds of British Champs when I had to change pace and after the final it was pretty bad, so I had to manage that, which that was a big thing. Was just I went to Colorado Springs and we did like the right sessions to be able to not make it worse but to make it better. So like my thing is that I've got good acceleration, so in reps I go out hard, but I had to be much more controlled. Going up to altitude, getting a little boost of that, and just mainly like doing the sessions I needed to do to run at 15 pace, because I'd had a little bit of focus on 8 stuff still, and I've got good training partners who have been pushing me in sessions and helping me out loads. That it's just like a perfect storm of everything came together, and I can't fault like anything I've done the last month between Oslo and now to get me to this place. Like I just had to mainly get my head around the fact that I was in the best shape possible and kind of take the pressure off what I needed to do here, just relax and enjoy racing and hope that I can get the best out of myself and kind of display what I feel as though the potential I've shown in the sport through the years. So I just hoped it was a medal, and so to get a gold is like something that I can obviously cherish the rest of my life now.
Yeah. Did you hear your dad at all during the race or after the race on the PA?
After, like I didn't hear him much in it. Like one of my mistakes in Oslo was I was too aware of what was going on behind and around me. So they had a big screen in Oslo at different points, and I was checking it too much because I was feeling a bit rough. So I tried to just avoid the clock, avoid the screens in that race there, and just run to feel and look forward rather than behind. So I was always watching what Jakob was doing, and I'm glad there was no screen in that home straight, because I wasn't aware where he was, but my sole focus was like a racehorse with blinkers, just trying to get to that finish line as smooth as possible.
But what does it feel like to hear your dad announcing that you're a world champion?
I'm so used to hearing him that I actually couldn't hear him much because I was just in my own head, like in disbelief, but it's special to have him on the mic, so I hope he was like choked up and pretty emotional about it. And I've had a lot of rubbish races like Tokyo. He was calling last year and he probably didn't even mention my name, so for him to call me as a world champion was a big change from that, and it's the dream having a dad that announced in a stadium. For him to call me through for something like this is ridiculous.
Are you going to be able to convince him to celebrate tonight? Because I think he's already saying we've got Com Games in 10 days from now.
Yeah, for me, like I'm trying to like make the most of this right now, because you don't really get the momentum of like being able to enjoy success when you've got another chance coming up. So tonight and tomorrow and maybe the next few days is very important, but comms is going to be very hard to kind of get refocused again now, but I hope I can use the momentum from what I've done here to then go and have a good one there. But this is a big deal for me, so, and a big deal hopefully for him, so he needs to really like